Hey guys, welcome to the One Up Weekly Live.
Hey, guy. What's going on?
No fanfare. Anyway, so today we wanted to talk about, what did we want to talk about, Ralph? This idea that Arcade One Up is going to eventually come out with full-size cabinets. Is this
But
a real
Justin,
thing?
before we get started, a word from our sponsor.
Oh.
Are you a YouTube content creator that just needs a little bit of help building eye-catching thumbnails to really draw people in? Well, you need to go visit buythumbnails.com. Use coupon code ONEUP to save $2 off all products. Buythumbnails.com.
Thank you for that, Ralph.
And oh yeah, one more word from John D., the VP of licensing over at Arcade One Up.
Right, so this is the guy that's telling us that Arcade One Up is going to come out with full-size cabinets. Is that right? Is that what we understand?
Seems legit to me. I mean, look at the guy.
Yeah. So
Sexy
check
as
this
hell.
out, guys. If you didn't check out, a lot of you did, I'm sure, because one of our biggest videos recently is our interview with John D. But it was packed with so much information. There's one topic that we wanted to cut out and really highlight and talk about. So in that video, John kept on saying if he had his way, what he would like to see. He alluded to this big blue cabinet, this idea that Arcade One Up would come out with, maybe I would call it, I don't remember his exact words, so this is my interpretation, not quoting him, but like a replica cabinet of some of the original series. So This is in the part of the video where we were talking about, would Arcade One Up ever re-release the first generation cabinets? Now, the reason why this is important to me, at CES when we were live with John D, that was one of the key things that we talked about. We were like, hey, your first generation cabinets were really good titles, but we're really digging the new stuff coming out, the new technology, the new hardware. Yep. What if you came out with a Pro line? We figured they would never come out with like a full-size cabinet.
Yeah,
that's not what we meant by Pro line, right?
No, we just kind of meant like retooled version 1 or I hate wave 1, generation 1 cabinets that had like maybe different parts to them, right? Maybe they had different controls. Maybe they were stereo instead of mono. Like maybe they would just do some improvements to them to make them more appealing for the next round. But we never really thought about full size. But John D's kind of, you probably didn't pull the clip, right?
I didn't pull the clip. Let's just talk about it.
All right. So he's hinted at it a couple times, but then he really kind of doubled down on the idea of it the last time we had him on the show. And I know how much Capcom is near, and that was weird. I know how much Capcom is near and dear.
That's right. John D used to work for Capcom.
It is coming close to Halloween, and I'm pretty sure the door closed itself, so that's cool. That's why I don't do the VR horror anymore. So yeah, we're staying away from that. But yeah, so he did kind of say that, right? And he admittedly loves the Capcom Big Blue Street Fighter, which I don't know if we have pulled up, but we could pull it up so people could see what that cabinet looks like.
Yeah, so first of all, this blew me away when I revisited that. I watched that part. Ralph and I started talking about it, and we're like, this is crazy if they did that, right? This would be a whole new level. Like, here's the thing. Honestly, it's been a crazy journey. 2018, they came out with these cabinets, and we were cool with the idea of a 3/4 scale cabinet. But now, if Arcade One Up ends up coming out with a full-size cabinet, would you want that? That's my first question. Is that something that you would want to get? Because I've thought before, I don't really have the room, or, the 3/4 size scale cabinets is probably, for me. And then I talked about, there's these risers, so the whole idea, would they ever make a cabinet that doesn't come with a riser? Because pretty much everyone in North America is buying Arcade One Up cabinets, with a riser. And so why would you sell them separately if pretty much everybody is, I don't know what's going on with Ralph right now, but whatever. So why would you buy an Arcade One Up cabinet without a riser, Because I pretty much, I don't know, give me some ones in the chat. If you're the type of person that always buys with a riser, hit 1. If you're the type of person that likes them without the riser, give us a 0 and we'll highlight that and we'll kind of see what type of individuals that we have here in the chat. And so if you talk about that, so we got some ones here, a lot of people saying one, and that's what I'm thinking most people are like. But if they got rid of the riser, or if they made some cabinets that didn't include a riser, right? It was just basically a replica full size. Is that something that you would buy? So give us a 2 if you're in that camp where you're like, yeah, I would totally pick up a full size cabinet from Arcade One Up. This is interesting because Ralph and I are, you've started buying full size cabinets. I mean, you did before, but maybe you can talk about that journey, Ralph, where you started with 3/4, or you started investing in 3/4 scale, but also you've been investing more in full size recently.
Yeah, I mean, the whole downstairs was just funny because I was watching a video, an older video of mine, because someone commented on it, and I was like, oh, I'm going to see what that video was about. I kind of forgot what I might have said in that video. And in that video, I make a comment about Arcade One Up is probably going to end up being the gateway drug for a lot of people, because if it really brings you back to that time, they may start to invest. Not that they'd replace the Arcade One Up completely, but they would augment it with some full size, or it may just have people go straight to full size because they love that particular game so much. But for me, it was just, I had a bunch of full-size cabinets. I sold almost all of them, and then I was left with one MAME cabinet that I had, and then Arcade One Up came out. So I was like, oh, these are cool. They don't take up a lot of space. I'm going to buy these. Started modding them. And then the kind of journey, it kind of rekindled that excitement for those games. And I never bought some of the games that I grew up loving. So I was like, well, I'm going to buy a couple of those, because those, I don't care if they have one title, because that one title means so much to me that I would play it that much. Because that's the thing. Some people go, well, I love an arcade that can play multiple games because, I don't have the space. But if you do have the space and it's a game you love, it's pretty cool to have a dedicated cabinet for that game you love, right?
Yeah, Kev Grits makes a really good point. He says, last week you guys said the At Games Legends pinball is too big, but now you want full-size arcades.
Well, I don't think we said it was too big, just too big. I just said it was not, it's not the 3/4 scale market. Clearly, that's a different market to me. That cabinet's significantly bigger than a 3/4 scale one. So you do have to consider the size when buying it. That's all. I don't think we ever said we thought it was too big. I just think it falls out of the realm of this market a bit, don't you think?
Well, here's the thing. What we're talking about is vertical space and horizontal space, so the pinball machine is going to take up more surface area in your room, right? And the arcades will take up more surface area, but it's not as much as a pinball machine. And so I'm looking.
The problem with the pinball machine is it comes out. That's the problem. Is like, I had a pinball machine downstairs. I had a 42-inch virtual pinball. I actually had. This is so crazy. So this may be, and we're going a little off topic, but this may actually happen to a lot of you. If funding is not the issue and you buy your first virtual pinball that's small, you may end up buying. You may even you might start with an Arcade One Up, go to an At Games, and then buy an actual 42-inch one. I swear to you, this virtual pinball, that hobby is also very, very addicting, and you'll want certain things out of the cabinet that maybe you didn't know you wanted because you didn't even know how much you'd love it till you had it. I think this is going to open up the doors for a ton of people, and they're going to end up, it's same thing here. They're going to buy an Arcade One Up. They go, man, I really would have loved to have a full-size real Street Fighter, and they're going to go buy a real pinball machine maybe, or it's going to get nuts. I can tell. I know it's going to.
Yeah, that's why I find it interesting. Maybe John D was just trolling us. He's just messing with us. He put it out there. But maybe he's got something else going on where he's thinking that he can capture those customers, the ones that would look at, Arcade One Up and go, that's just a baby's toy, right? I'm not going to pick that up. But then all of a sudden you throw like a Mortal Kombat, like it looks exactly like the original, or a Street Fighter, some of these first generation cabinets. I don't know if Rampage would be much of an appeal, but those two are pretty iconic as an example.
Well, because they're iconic shapes of the cabinets, right? I mean, the Midway cabinet's such an iconic shape for the Mortal Kombat cabinet. It's just like everyone loves that shape of that cabinet. But not only that, if you were to come out with a full-size one, One Up has the opportunity to, if they did this, they'd have the opportunity to optimize some things, right? Like those cabinets don't need to be that deep. They don't have CRTs in them anymore, so they don't have to be, those things are very deep. So think about it. Maybe you don't cut it in half, but maybe it's close to in half. So now you don't have it as deep, but you could still have it as tall.
You can still
And of course, and
install.
if
Hmm.
you cut off the depth, right? I'm gonna hit something on my table. If you cut off the depth, you're gonna dramatically reduce the weight, and then you don't have the CRT, so the weight's down too. Now, I don't know if they ever if they ever decide to do this, do they use the same half inch wood, or do they go with like a full inch?
Yeah, it's a
Because if
really
you
good
do the
question.
because that when you get that big and that size and you have to put it together like IKEA
Hmm.
furniture, it's gonna
Hmm.
be really important that that thing is like stable. And companies like Game Room Solutions or Rec Room Masters, they're using full inch wood, so
Hmm.
they're
Hmm.
freaking heavy. That's the thing, and they shipping isn't cheap for those things too. So that's also a consideration. And they definitely wouldn't be selling them at like Walmart and stuff
Yeah,
like that. It would probably be direct to consumer if they decide to go down that path.
which is weird because for them to make a product line like that they want, I would assume they would want to get that out to the masses. But to not have the opportunity to sell it at Walmart is really interesting because it's one thing to be like, hey, let's do a test. Let's see if we throw Sanwas in the cabinet if they sell. Let's put that up on the website. Did pretty good, but maybe it's not mass appeal. They made about 3,000 Marvel. Is that right? 3,025 if or 3,075. And
The
it took a
special
couple
edition
months.
one, the one with
Yeah,
Sanwa, I
yeah,
don't know the exact count, but I thought it was something like that, like less than
yeah.
4,000 or something.
Yeah, and it took a couple months to, to move those. And my guess is it's not like that with Pac-Man. They sell 5 or 10,000 Pac-Mans to some
Oh wait,
retailer, and they're gone in 1 month.
people are
So
saying 8,000. I didn't think there was that many, but I guess there's like a
oh
whole
yeah,
bunch of
yeah,
people jumping in and saying
Uh,
8,000. So that must have
yeah,
been what it
they're
was. I
right.
don't remember that.
I think I was thinking of Burger. The Burger Time was about 3,000. Is that
Yeah.
right?
Hey, we got a couple
Yeah,
super
that's right.
chats. We got How to Bachelor. Thanks, buddy, for the super chat. Thanks for being a member as well. We're gonna get on those member streams soon, I promise you. But he said prayers for Ralph. Zohar's the man. Congrats to Stringer. For those of you who know, Stringer got he closed on his house, so he's pretty excited about that. So that's pretty awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Billy Sweet, thank you for the super chat. He says, I thought risers were gimmicky until I saw it on one, and
Mm-hmm.
then the theme risers and the third party vinyls made it a must for all my cabs. Yeah,
Right. Mm-hmm.
Billy, that's a really thank you for the super chat, bud. And that is a really good comment because it's funny. Another video that I went back and watched of mine that someone commented on. It's weird. People seem to be commenting lately on older videos, and it was my Mortal Kombat 2 review. And in that review, I remember they were short on risers and I couldn't get them, so I did the whole review of it off the
Mm-hmm.
riser. And it's weird because I'm sitting in a chair and the machine isn't that much taller than like my head in the chair. So it is weird how different the one up feels on the riser versus on the floor. It really does kind of look like
Yeah.
an oversized toy when it's on the off a riser.
The riser really does make a difference. I think
Yeah.
Vic Vicious, he makes a really good point. Love the 3/4 scale, but wish OneUp would release more accurate shaped cabs with recessed monitors and control panels. See, I think that would be, I mean, I don't know, not that they're going to listen to us anyway, but if they're going to build a full size cool, they could also just start making all their 3/4 scale cabinets more replica like, and that would be really, really exciting. They're kind of doing that with Pac-Man. And I'm going to make some guesses here, but I talked to a couple other people outside of Arcade One Up, and they said this is true. It might be the reason why we're not seeing like perfect replica shapes of an Arcade One Up. My understanding is when you get a license for something, you're not just getting the license, oh, can we put Street Fighter in? It's more like, what royalties do we have to pay people, right? Think of like music. So you're going to, do a song, right, on a TV show. You're going to pay somebody, but that money is going to be split up between, the recording artists, the studio, the producers. There's all these people that get a little bit of the fees. And the music company's got that all figured out, right? They've been doing it for decades. Retro gaming is kind of this new space that I think Arcade One Up and there's other ones as well that are getting into that. So they're like, okay, we want that cabinet. Now, if they want the shape of the cabinet, do they have to pay a royalty to the person or entity that owns that intellectual property? Maybe that's not the publisher, right? What if they have the control panel? Like the Mortal Kombat control panel is unique. Did someone own the trademark and, IP for that exact shape? My understanding is in some cases the answer is yes. And
Yeah,
so to
actually, someone asked that question while you were talking through it. Ben said, "Are the shapes of the cabinets licensed?" Now, I would imagine, though, Justin, that these companies being as big as they were at the time, like I can't imagine that Midway if you were the designer who worked for Midway at the time and came up with that cabinet design, I'd be really surprised if the cabinet design was held by the designer and not property of Midway. I would expect it to be property of Midway, but I don't know. Back then,
But
maybe
see,
they weren't
they made a
thinking
lot of
about it as
mistakes in
much.
the 80s and 90s,
No,
right?
I know. Maybe they weren't, because there were a lot of mistakes made as far as like, I mean, look at all the Miss Pac-Man debacle stuff where that's a total mess and it got all politically weird and the GCC company got involved and they were a separate entity, but they really did some of the game design. So it was just kind of, yeah, it's
Hmm.
kind of weird, but I don't know. I'd be surprised if they didn't have ownership of it at this stage of the game. Like the companies didn't own the designs, but maybe they don't. Who knows? I think that someone probably knows that somewhere. So if someone knows in the chat, let us know. But
Yeah, we do
uh,
know the coin doors is a part of, um, if you avoid putting a coin door, evidently you can avoid some royalties that you would have to pay or to certain people. So it's been talked about before. On the previous show, we did talk about Tempest being one of the cabinets that John D was saying they were going to really do. So it was like a 12-1, maybe a change of the game lineup, but in a Tempest format. And that's the really good question. If that's coming out early, I'd love to know if that's coming out spring 2021. That would be really cool if they did that. And is it going to be like a perfect replica? Is there going to be, just kind of in the spirit of it?
yeah, I don't know. I mean, uh, I think it's a cool idea if they decide to go and do it. I think they have to be careful with that though, because if they're gonna do a full size
Mm-hmm.
and you're gonna, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what their intent is. Is their intent to capture that part of the audience that really would love to have a bigger size cabinet and they love that game lineup so much that they would want it in that format? And if they do that, do they then think about it being full size, so therefore it should have better components in it too? I don't know, because that would be the part that would bum me out if they decide to go down that path, but they didn't go all the way with it, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
if you're gonna do it, you might as well go all the way with it. And I think there is an audience that would buy it and they would pay a premium for it if they felt like it was premium. If they
Right.
felt like it was premium, I think they would pay premium price. But if they went, oh gosh, you're giving me a full size cabinet, but it's the same controls, it's the same buttons. The monitors I've never had an issue with. Their monitors are always good. But if you're gonna go bigger size, do you then go, well, you kind of can't put a 17-inch monitor on a big cabinet like this. You
Right.
need to get something larger. And then we all know there's no like 4:3 aspect ratio large screens at this point. So what do? You kind of have to go widescreen. So like, how do you manage all that? It'll
Those
be
are
interesting to see.
really interesting challenges. Like maybe there's something we don't know. Maybe there is like a 5x4 or 4x3 at 25, 24 inch, because how replica are you going to make it? A lot of those had 25-inch CRTs,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. I mean, maybe who knows? Maybe they'll find someone willing to make a panel like that. Maybe they've gotten so many maybe they've sold so many panels that someone will be willing to make a custom panel on their behalf at this point. I don't know. I mean, I don't know how many BOE monitors they've bought at this point, but it's probably quite a lot
Yeah.
of BOE monitors.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm really
What's
interested.
interesting is that Panelook website. If you ever want to like get totally geeked out, go to the website Panelook
Hmm.
and you can go and it's basically all of the LCD panels manufactured out of China and you can see all of them. You can do things like show me all the 17-inch monitors that exist right now. It'll tell you like how many are being manufactured
Yeah.
and you can totally tell why companies like At Games, Arcade One Up, pick your company, IA Arcade, are buying the panels they're buying because you can see which ones are in abundance and which ones are not. And you can even see which ones were discontinued too. It's actually pretty cool if you want to geek out, but you will completely spend all day in it if you just be careful with it because I was like on it for hours going, what are the 17-inch monitors? Oh my gosh, there was a 5.4, 19-inch. Where are all those? It's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's a really interesting topic about where, what we're seeing is At Games and Arcade One Up going with BOE, and none of the other companies are doing it. Their BOE seems to be a pretty prestigious monitor, and the other ones are not, like the Neo Geo MVSX. The monitor's good. It's not great. It's not that upper level, but it's pretty decent. I'm expecting the same thing on the II Arcade. Not really sure about the pinball machines. We'll see how that goes, what type of monitors they end up doing it. But the other thing Ralph and I have been talking about is how there's this.
Do you care if I show this really quick if people
Sure,
are interested?
yes.
So, what do you mean? You're like the dude that loves this stuff. You
Well,
should
I
be
was
like
gonna
super
I was
excited
going to talk
right
about
now.
evidently there's a big convergence on rock chip. Is the kind of the new thing that we've noticed. Like almost everybody's using that.
Yeah, we'll go there in 1 second. But let's see. So like I just did 17-inch monitor, right? And look at how many. So there's 90,000 of them in stock. Look at the model number. You guys will recognize this model number.
Right.
Do you guys remember that model number? That model number is probably pretty stuck in your brain if you ever modded an arcade 1-up. There's 80,000 of these. No, how many did I say?
90,000.
Yeah, there's 90,000 of them in stock. So you can see like, you start to see like, well, who's making them? And BOE is on here too, but
Right.
but this AUO one,
Mm-hmm.
I was reading some. I got stuck down in some like loop where there was a company talking about this monitor.
Yeah.
And it was in some medical device. Like there was some
Yep.
medical screen that was using this, and so maybe at the point where they were no longer needed or they were using different screens, that's why you still have 90,000 of these things out there.
Yeah, so hit the 1280 by 960. 1280 by 960. That's
Yeah,
a
hold
4:3 aspect ratio.
Yeah, you should find the BOE as the top
Mhm.
one, I think. Yep. It's the
Boom.
only one actually.
The only one.
So the only 960p monitor in production according to this website is the BOE one, and there's 11,000 of those left.
Uh-oh. That number can't be that number can't be accurate.
Well, but it says in stock. That doesn't mean that there's no longer making them, because
It's because Arcade 1-Up has 1 million of them. Is that what it is? Or 2 million of them?
Well, the thing is, so they do have, if you go back and look up 960p discontinued ones, and you will see ones that are discontinued. This one's obviously still being made. So you'll see that, yeah, I just want you guys to understand this number doesn't mean that's all it's left and no more will be made. It could actually, if the vendor decides not to make them anymore. But yeah, it's a pretty reliable
Arcades
site.
Makes a good point. Hit the X mark on there and see if there's any 1600 by 1200. Last I checked, I didn't think there was.
I mean, it's not even an option for me.
No.
I have a 1680 by 1050. I've got a 1920 by 1200. It's a weird resolution.
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't have
1920
that.
by 1920. It's a 1:1 resolution. That's pretty good.
Yeah, so there's like a bunch. Let's see, you have the 1280 by 1024, and there's probably like a BOE equivalent. No, the AUO. Yeah, there's a bunch of them out there. But yeah, so you guys can see like they're kind of using what's out there, right? Because they're probably getting good prices on these things.
Well, it's not like they're inventing monitors. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. So I'm sorry I geeked out on that, but the website's called panelook.com.
Yeah, I think
Panel.
Mike Limbinski is all upset because he's like, "What's going on? There's like this reverse." I know what it is. I'll tell you what's happening right now.
What?
See, we got a comment on I think it was a comment on one of my videos. The guy was like, "Man, I really love watching your show. My favorite part is how funny Ralph is and essentially how smart Justin is." And I sent it to Ralph. I'm like, "Hey, this is a really good comment." And I just thought it was a good comment because he this person lives in the Netherlands and he doesn't have access to Arcade 1-Up, but he watches the podcast every week and he likes the tech stuff. And he's basically saying like, you guys should talk about tech.
Yeah, he's
more.
like, translation, Ralph's stupid but funny and you're smart. So cool.
So
But maybe not that funny, but yeah.
Yeah, immediately Ralph's like, "No, I know that stuff too. I just let Justin talk about it."
So anyways, yes, I'm trying to flex my technical prowess right now. It's totally what I'm doing. Thank
right.
you. I wish you didn't say anything. Now they all know.
Well, let's
They
go
know
back,
anyway.
okay? Let's take it all the way back. So, what other titles would we love to see Arcade 1-Up?
You guys are awesome. Okay. Anyways.
If what other titles, Ralph, do you think that you would like to see Arcade 1-Up do a full size? Like, what would be like if they made a full size replica Arcade 1-Up? Now it's not going to be a CRT, but you would go buy this cabinet instead of a real one.
Well, so if they do Street Fighter, that'd be one of them, because my Street Fighter is like in dire need of. Think about it, guys. These cabinets are over 20 years old, so you're not gonna go buy one unless you paid the money to have someone restore it. That's pristine. My Street Fighter needs to be sanded. I need to repaint it and put new artwork on it. Some of the metal is like kind of rusting. I need to fix some of that. So like honestly, if they created a Street Fighter, I would probably sell my original. I know it's painful to say, but I would probably sell my original for
this
it.
is what I'm trying to figure out. Why? Look, I'm with you. I'm not talking against you.
Because I know in my lifetime I won't have time to do what I want to do with it. I just feel like I have too many projects. It's weird. I know, that's so crazy.
it's really weird because it's like you're saying I will trade in a real cabinet for an arcade one up. Like how? But
Well, there's a big stipulation on there. Are you saying to me that it's going to be like, oh, like as far as the quality of the buttons and controls, it's going to be like an original?
I don't know.
All right, but why not just hypothetically say it is?
Sure.
Say it's as good. How about this? We're going to say it's as good, except it doesn't have a CRT.
Okay. So let's say that. Hold on a second. So you're saying if they
And
make
Code
a full,
Mystics did it.
well, that'll be interesting because Code Mystics didn't do Street Fighter.
I know, but we're hypothetically speaking, right? So in my fantasy world, Code Mystics did it. It's got scan lines. I can turn on dip switches. I can do difficulty settings. The only thing it doesn't have a CRT, but all the controls are the same. It's got a nice light up marquee. The thing looks great. Artwork looks great, except it doesn't have a CRT. I'm willing to make that sacrifice because I don't know. I just would. If it looked amazing, it'd have to look amazing though.
See, this is honestly what we were talking about this week. And I was agreeing with him. This is kind of like earlier. You were where were you at? Like Walgreens or something like that, or CVS?
Oh my gosh, I have to tell you something really quick. Do you ready? You're gonna seriously kill me right now. Ready?
Did you buy it?
No, hold on.
No.
Yeah.
No.
This is gonna completely derail the whole show.
Oh
Actually, all of you guys are gonna think I have serious issues. Ready?
You have problems.
No. 1, 2, 3.
What is wrong with you?
4.
Why?
I know. It makes no sense.
No, but is this the ones you were ordering? You know, you were ordering you were trying different stores to try to get it because you wanted to get it.
Yes, but then I don't know.
When did you buy those? Like weeks ago or yesterday? I told you, literally, there's like a text message.
I bought all the ones they had.
What?
I bought all the ones they had.
You're insane, dude. Let's see. I'm looking at our text message. You say to me, "Please stop me from buying this." I'm gonna
You can't see it. Oh, there it is.
Is it dumb?
If I buy this, I want it, but I don't know why.
And I say dumb.
Oh my god.
And you said, "I didn't get it. Thanks." And then, dude,
why are you
and then I'm looking at your text
why do you have
messages.
Hold on, why do you have a bilinear filter on your camera right now? I'm playing Miss Pac-Man. Hold on. Oh, there I am. Must have got the patch update.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, that's awesome.
I can't.
This is a
Okay.
good point.
I know
Corey's
you're-
like, we need to ask future Ralph. We probably do.
Here's the deal. Okay, is it my fault? I think it's my
What?
fault, right? So
Kinda. Can we kind of like hint
you don't want to talk
the-
about it, do you?
I don't know. Why not? Who cares? Well, it kind of fits into your rock chip conversation, so let's do it.
All right.
Screw. Who cares?
So what we had
But
noticed.
be careful. Be a little careful, please, before you go down this path.
Well, then why don't you tell everybody? You talk then. I won't. If you want me to be careful,
I'll
just
set
won't.
the stage and then you can fill in. I'm going to set the stage because I don't want you to go too far down. I don't know what path you're going to go down, and we haven't talking about this. So
I think this is also why you really want to flex that you're not dumb. So the last
This isn't why. No, it has
48
nothing
hours.
no, but
you're
everyone's
like,
no.
I'm a
you're
hacker too.
You're so conveniently setting up that narrative. This sucks because now everything I say from here forward is going to be nonsense. Okay, check this out. So Justin and I had been talking a lot lately because we were noticing like a trend in everything, like all of these little devices, including the handhelds from China. They all seem to be. There's this trend that they're all starting to use rock chip. So. And the first one that we saw, and I'm not talking about these handhelds, but the first home arcade product that we saw that we at least knew identified used rock chip was the Act Games Legends Ultimate. It had
Then Toy Shock was the second one.
Yeah, and the Toy Shock was the second one. So I'm like, this is weird. Like everyone's using rock chips. And it may be for the same reason why everyone's using the BOE panels, right? There's just a lot of them out there and they're cheap to buy, but whatever. So everyone seemed to be using that. Then the funny thing is, I bought the little handheld, the little arcade one-up thing. And then I convinced Justin, well, I told you where to get yours, and you got one. And I hadn't opened it up yet, but then Justin did. And he's like, dude, it's using a rock chip.
Yep.
So it kind of got us wondering, like, dude, everyone's using rock chip. And then we kind of like went down this gray area in our conversation where we're like, well, if the code was out there, could you just like run other people's code on these rock chips?
Yeah,
if it
looks
was
like
the same,
you can.
if it was the same chipset. And so we kind of like went down this path and we played with it a little bit. Justin played with it a little bit. Then I bought a couple things. I bought a couple products that were out there that just had rock chips on them that were more like development boards to see if I could put it into like a recovery mode and maybe play with the code a little bit. Because there are rock chip development boards out there where you can download the drivers and also the firmware updater. So you can plug it in, and when it's in that like recovery mode, at that point you can flash whatever you want to it if the original vendor allowed you to do it, which
That's right.
Some products won't. But anyways, if you want to take it from here, you can, because I don't know how far you want to go.
We won't go really far. I'll just say this. All of these are general purpose devices, all right? These are not necessarily proprietary hardware. So proprietary hardware would be hardware that's developed with a very specific purpose for a very specific vendor, being like Arcade 1-Up. But a lot of these devices are not purpose-built. They're general purpose. Because of that, there's not a lot of... It's like buying a computer, like a PC. So what Apple, for example, is very purpose-driven. So they actually write code to make it where, you would basically have to violate DMCA to get an Apple operating system run on something else. You have to decode something, decipher something, and you're not supposed to do that. The law prohibits that. But if there's other type of operating environments and systems that can run on other general purpose devices, and you didn't have to decrypt anything to be able to do that, you're not violating any policy. Maybe a EULA at most. And so what we're finding is most of these home arcades are general purpose devices. And so the idea of cross firmware between them is probably going to be popular in the next few years, I suspect. The reason why I say that is because 10 years ago, I was in a completely different world, different hobby, and this happened there, where people discovered that multiple manufacturers are actually just using general purpose devices, and you could kind of cross-load firmware.
Yeah, I mean, you look at it, right? So this development board I bought, it was like $15, and it had the
wait, $15?
It was $15, and it had the rock chip, the RK3318, I think what it was. I think it was a 331. It's actually the same chip that's in the At Games Legends Ultimate. So I think it's the 3328 or 3318. I can't remember. But long story short, that device is missing one key critical thing. You can't flash the firmware on it because there is no embedded memory chip. So like it doesn't have like its own system that boots off of they're called an MMC device. It's like this little memory chip. Most companies, when they manufacture these, that's actually part of the board. It's not detachable. But the development boards allow you to add and remove eMMC chips. So I went and bought an eMMC chip. I put it on there, and now I'm working through getting that board to be identified in development mode, or not development mode, but recovery mode on my PC. And then at that point, I have full access to do whatever I want to that. I can put whatever firmware I want on it. So anyway,
and it may be more like just, put a development firmware in there, which is the lightweight version of Linux, and then just build your own file system and SSH into it and just drop whatever files you want, tell it to boot to a little UI, and for $15, you built your own little home arcade.
Yeah, so it's kind of interesting because some of these rock chips, like that Rock Pro, it's called Rock Pro something, I can't remember. There's actually a rock chip sort of Raspberry Pi 4 competitor out there that's been out there for a couple of years. And it's interesting because it actually beats the Pi 4 on several of the tests that they went through. So they went through this like whole panel of tests, and it actually beats it in a lot of them.
Right.
And so it's kind of interesting. So this thing's been out for a little while. It's less popular because I don't know, just probably because Pi had
I
such a
didn't
big
choose it.
following.
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, I think it's just there's a huge community around it, but you could load a lot of the same operating environments can be loaded right on this Rock Pi thing. And so it's interesting right now. And there, I don't know. I don't think I want to take the conversation much further than that, but let's just
Nah.
say Justin and I are going to play with it a little bit more. If you're curious or you know, have a knack for wanting to hack and just not, I shouldn't say hack, maybe not hack's not a good word, but tinker around with stuff that's out there because we're not really hacking anything in a
No, no.
sense. This is all stuff that you can buy. We're not hacking anything to get it to do this, and all the instructions are online of how to do these types of things.
What's really interesting is Ralph and I have been working on that, and we're learning a lot, and that's a good hobby when you're buying stuff and you're learning things and you're having fun, seeing if you can come up with something. It's entertaining, and so that's what we've been doing. And what's funny, I'm turning into the funny guy, and he's taking the lead on all of this stuff. So I'm kind of just, letting
But
him
Justin,
be
the
the
thing that's so
brainiac.
cool, but the thing that's so cool is like if I think back to before I even like I feel like was way nerdier before, and then I got into like, oh, the YouTube channel will be a means to show like that I can actually be funny and sort of make it an entertainment thing. So it's like
Mhm.
more like entertainment / gaming stuff.
Right.
But I always used to just tinker. That was really what I did. It kind of like the channel sort of went down its own direction. But this is the kind of stuff that used to really intrigue me about.
Right.
You and I have talked about this before. Sometimes, and we were very, very like honest with each other on a phone call one time where I'm like, don't you sometimes get more satisfaction out of building something and then admiring what you built than actually playing on it yourself? And you said yes. And I was like, oh my gosh, we have a lot. This was a long time ago. I was like,
Yep.
we have a lot more in common in this hobby than I thought, because sometimes we just like to mess around with stuff and then get it to work or do something we want. And then we're on to the next project.
We're on to the next one. Yeah, that's what we talked about. We were trying to figure out how we can streamline this process where we're like, we do some type of, investment in some product and project and figure it out and share it with the community and then sell it. Or maybe we didn't spend very much money, maybe only $15 to put it together. And then we move on to the next little fun project. But we capture that content in a tutorial or entertaining way, or kind of both. This, got us into experimenting with the podcast idea. Maybe podcasts can be entertaining and informative all at the same time.
Yeah, for sure. So we got a super chat from Epicenter Gaming. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate that. He said, FYI, Walmart has Space Invaders cab for $149. Free 2-day. I think he meant free 2-day. Free 2-day shipping with random Xbox or PS4 game. That's weird. I took a shot and ordered it, and it showed up with the game inside. Box 3 days later. Huh. That's interesting. So they put a random Xbox and PS4 game. It's a weird bundle, but that's weird. You know what that must be? Someone actually, I didn't really expect us to talk about this, but since we're talking about Arcade 1-Up titles, it was weird because we saw somewhere it posted, and then Justin had messaged it. They re-released like a Street Fighter 2 with but they packed in a graphic riser, and I asked John D about that, and it didn't sound. I don't want to put words in his mouth, but the way he responded made it sound like that was a bundle Walmart put together, like that they just had maybe extra at Street Fighter 2s, which I was surprised because I thought they sold out of those a long time ago.
Right.
So I don't know, maybe they found stock and then they bought the risers from 1-Up and did a bundle. I don't know. It's just weird. He didn't really seem to give me he's usually super straight with me, so I have no reason to think he would, try to not tell me something accurate on that. But it was weird because it's kind of expensive. It's like $4.99 or something. Like I would not buy that for $4.99.
Yeah. You're exactly right. I have it here. It's pretty interesting. So it's just the Gen 1 Street Fighter.
Yeah, it's
with the customizer. This I actually clicked on. This is an incorrect price. Like down in here, you can say like report that it's incorrect. And I said you made a typo. It's supposed to be $379.
Yeah, I would not advise anyone, if you did not get into Street Fighter, if you didn't get an Arcade 1-Up Street Fighter and you're interested in that product, don't buy this one, because undoubtedly in 2021 there will be other Street Fighters released. You won't want this one. Or if you want it so bad, go buy one on the open market on like OfferUp or like Facebook Marketplace. Don't buy this one.
The only thing I can think of is if for some reason you do go into the open market and they are overpriced for some reason.
Well, they
But
might be. That's the other thing too.
maybe
They might be.
But it's tough. I'm actually upset that Walmart would do that because this is not competitively priced with the other products that they sell with Arcade 1-Up. This is an older generation. They don't sell any cabinets at this form factor for that price. This breaks all the rules that they've kind of made for themselves.
Yeah,
where it's
it's
like
weird.
it's $299 if it's a standard cabinet. Like that's your entry base model. Well, look, that's an entry base model. That should be $299. Then the
Right.
riser, if it's custom, add $79 to that.
Yep.
Bundle it. You see this with Pac-Man. You see this with Galaga. Now, if you start adding things like a light-up marquee, okay, now you can get into the $399 price, but that's going to come with a custom riser. And then if you get a feature like it goes live, you can connect to a leaderboard, and you can, play online gaming on it, multiplayer. Yeah. Now you can charge the $500.
Oh yeah, if you put some Wi-Fi on that, then absolutely call it. Yeah, you can go to the 500 price point, but not. I don't think for that. What's there?
But I don't think it really matters. The fact that we're deterring people from purchasing this one, I'm pretty sure no one's. I don't think the price will probably go down because.
Oh my gosh, I want to tell you about something that's super cool. I forgot to tell you about this.
See, this is what happens when we don't talk during the week. You're all like, oh, there's something else I got to tell you.
No, this is so cool. So for those of you that didn't watch, I did a video on that Atari arcade stick, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I did. It was like a really cool arcade stick. It kind of looked like a tank stick. Those X arcade tank sticks. It was really neat. Like the build quality was good. Everything about it was great. But it was supposed to come with a Pi inside that had like 80 or so. I can't remember the quantity. Some amount of Atari games on it, and had a trackball and all this stuff. I was super stoked, and we were doing the video live. Justin, I didn't unbox it or anything beforehand. I took it out of the box. I literally went live, and then I open it up, and there's no Pi inside. Like the Pi's not there. So this is so cool. The guy from Micro Center that buys all this stuff, like the buyer for Micro Center, he's the buyer specifically for their DIY arcade products, and he like reached out to me, and we did a Zoom call. Super cool dude. They have like all of these awesome plans for their DIY. So if you have a Micro Center near you, they're doing all these cool things with future products coming up in 2021. But he's like, oh my gosh, we watched your video. We were so bummed out that you didn't get it. We're going to make it right. That's the one that one doesn't have the Pi in it, but so that's effectively what I got. Yeah, but that's not what it was supposed to be.
You bought one that's kind of like you get everything you need, right?
It has the Pi inside it. Yeah, and it boots up, and it's got these Atari games. Actually, if you scroll down below, really quick, that thing that you just were on, that recently viewed item, that is actually what it should have came with. It should not the joystick, but it should have came with that Pi and that SD card image. But he's gonna send me the Pi. He's
gonna fix it, right?
He's gonna fix it, yeah, which was really cool. But he was so cool. He just seemed like really, really concerned about the fact that this happened, and he's like, we jump on top of any of these kinds of things if we can. We try to fix them right away. And it was interesting. They have like a really cool philosophy just about everything there. And I asked him on the call, I'm like, man, I'm surprised. They used to live in Southern California. We used to go to Micro Center all the time because you could buy everything there, Justin. Right. They had drives and motherboards and monitors and everything. And he's like, yeah, the reason why we've stayed in business is because we've really catered to those DIY people. We've catered to the techie that wants to come in and build his own thing. And they stayed really lean. Like they didn't try to, get fancy. Because you walk in those stores, they're not fancy. Fry's Electronics. Do you have Fry's Electronics near you?
Well, I used to live in California, and
so
I used to live in Denver. So I went to Fry's all the time.
Like they'd be like, this Fry's has a Tyrannosaurus Rex inside that's 150 feet tall. It breathes fire. And you're like, wow, that's really cool. And you're like, that must be super expensive to maintain. So Fry's would go into this, like every store would have a theme. But yeah, no, I was super stoked. His name was Andy. He was a really cool guy. And it was just really neat. I've been doing YouTube for almost 2 years, and I've never had that happen where a manufacturer reaches out to me and says, let's do a Zoom call. I want to understand what happened. Like that was really cool. So anyways, I just thought that was neat.
Yeah, I think that's really cool. And he also mentioned he had some, we can't talk about it, but he had some other products coming down the line. So Micro Center is going to be something that we're going to be kind of tracking because it looks like they're going to have some really cool stuff that home arcade's going to really like. This one, the Atari Dual Fight Stick 129 for the bare bones unit is an example of them partnering with a publisher but still kind of making it a little DIY-ish. I thought the coolest thing I saw in your video is where it can lift up.
It has hydraulics. Not hydraulics. What do you call it? Not hydraulics. It's not hydraulics.
Let's just call it hydraulics.
All right, let's call it hydraulics. Whatever. It has like it has like shocks. Like, oh, not shocks. The hell is it called?
It is something to hold up the board while you're like working under it. Okay.
Yeah. So it goes up, which was really cool.
It time travels. It does a lot of really cool stuff.
Yeah. And you can lock it. You can put a drink in it. You could put tea molding on it. You could paint it. You could replace the buttons.
You can do anything you want with it.
Yeah, you can do anything you want with it. Anything you want to, play games on. So, yeah. No, it was really cool. Gas struts. Maybe that's the closest. No, not a strut. Isn't it? I don't know.
Okay.
Pneumatic? No,
Hold
that's
on.
not it either.
Pistons. I'm gonna...
Pistons?
No. Let's change the subject. Let's go.
No, not a piston.
We're gonna bring it back in.
Thanks for the super chat, Stringer, by the way.
A few comments from people
Justin
saying
likes to ignore those.
Let's talk about... Look, I'm using the new tool, but it's not working. So,
cool.
Okay. Thank you so much, Stringer Films. This is the new tool. I got your membership right here. Here's $2. And then he said, Ben Toll says, are the shapes of the cabinets licensed? That's a good question. We talked about that early on the show. I think sometimes, yes. Stringer Films then said, this is a serious show. What in the hell is funny? There we go. And then Stringer Films also said, change the show name to One Ups Anonymous because we all have a big addiction.
Yeah, probably. I think we have a video game addiction to some degree. Everyone does to some degree.
I don't know.
But
when you showed that you bought all those Pac-Mans and Mega Mans, I don't think that's video games. That's like, look at all of these things that I could tinker with. I need 5 of them because I know I'm going to fry 3 of them in the process.
Okay, fine. I will be fully admit that the motivation behind that was before, well, I guess I had dual timelines going. I was like, look, I got the 1-up boards I can mess with, and then I have that Rock Pi thing that I can mess with, and I'm going to kind of try both. But I will undoubtedly brick 1 or 2 of those, so that's why. It's really project systems, to be honest. But yes,
that's right.
I said
and Mike says it's called a lift, by the way.
Really?
It's like a British elevator
for your arcade control panel.
That's right.
Okay. All right, whatever. I mean, okay, that's better than me. So
Fishby comes in and says, "No way! Arcade 1-Up will do a full-size cabinet." All right, let's see. Should we start doing bets?
I actually think they're gonna do it because everything that John D hints at so far has kind of come to fruition. A lot of things that he's hinted at have.
I'm gonna go with
I'm actually gonna go with it because I think sometimes he says these outlandish things like we're gonna have a racing cab before the end of the year, and we're like,
well, technically,
what? That's impossible.
There's no real proof of that yet, except for the proof that he said yes, we're totally gonna do it.
No, but there's the picture. There's the artist picture on that website.
Should we talk about that?
I thought that's what you were talking about. Did you just totally cross the streams right there? We were talking about things and you were like,
no, I meant like David McIntosh. If you take that point of view, David McIntosh says it's not real until it's available for sale.
Yeah, but they don't. I feel like they don't confirm anything till it comes out, right?
Technically,
I mean, nothing.
Star Wars Pinball is not real because it's not available for sale yet.
Yeah, I guess. Oh, they wanted us to talk about Zen. I guess we could really quick in the last 12 minutes we have.
Sure.
Right? Hold on, we got Zen with a super chat here. Zen says...
So let's talk about Zen. So Zen, how you doing, buddy? Maybe you can chat below and tell us more about your life, Zen, because everyone wants to know about you, Zen.
What are you talking about right now? Oh, all right.
This guy's Zen.
No, not Zen.
We're going to talk about Zen.
Not Zen the person, but that Zen the person is different from Zen Studios, the company, Justin.
So we'll talk about it. Super chat, then we'll talk about the studio.
Yes.
Okay, got it.
So going to have 7 arcade 1-ups with Big Buck Hunter, very expensive hobby. It is, my friend, and it got more expensive. I know, and it got more expensive because they used to be $299. And I was kind of used to that $290. See, Justin, 2 seconds, I promise. The $299 was like when you see a car or something for sale and they use the 99, you know, to kind of like, so you didn't think 300, you were still in the 200 range. And then because you had to buy the riser separate, it was like a separate transaction. So like in my brain, I don't even add the two together. I'm like, I bought something for 300 and I bought something for $44.99. And I don't even add it up. I'm not like, I spent $350 on this arcade.
That's right.
I'm like, I spent $299.
That's right.
And then I bought a box for $44.
You still only spent $299 on all the cabinets that you got. That's the biggest trick that they have. The biggest trick is you've only ever spent $299 ever for all 7 of those, because no one does the math.
Yeah, no, I don't do the math, but that's because we don't want to do the math.
We need to get on track. We really need to be talking about Zohar and his potential future wife.
No. Okay, we won't have enough time.
Can we bring in Future Ralph and ask Future Ralph if Zohar ever gets married?
How about next episode? We'll bring in Future Ralph for sure. 100% does a Future Ralph. Next episode, we'll bring him in. So Mike says, wasn't it kind of weird that the Zen guy filmed it in his daughter's room? Normally, I would have said, put it this way, if we weren't in COVID, I would have said, yeah, that would be really, really weird. But I think that was the only room he had to do it in, so he kind of like incorporated his family, which was kind of cool.
Yeah. He's like, hey, honey, can you hold the camera while I...
Yeah, exactly. So I did hear something crazy. So for those of you that went and watched that video, Arcade One Up published it. We can bring it up, I guess, if we want to just scrub through it. But one of the cool things about that video is he posted something on Twitter that he had like lost power, and he might have had like a committed timeline of when he was going to get that video done. And so I guess he did it all on generators. Like his house didn't have any power, so he had like a generator going to both light the room and control the arcade. At least that's what the story is. So that was kind of cool. But can we bring the video up?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Yeah, we'll bring the video up. But yeah, this was kind of this was cool because he got into a lot of the technology. That's his daughter's bedroom, I'm pretty sure. But
we'll just talk over.
Oh, sorry. No, I'm just looking at it. There it is. What do you know? She's got the first
For
one
those
in
of
her
you who
bedroom.
haven't watched it, so on Arcade One Up, YouTube and
there's a missing
Zen's
screw
YouTube.
right there, by the way. Go back.
Attention
I noticed
to detail.
that. No, go back. I just saw it. There's a missing screw on the leg in the back.
He took it apart a bajillion times, right?
Look. Or is it a different color screw? It looks like no screw there, but
there's a screw there.
No. Might be using those
anyway,
headless screws in that puppy.
This was the first look at the Marvel pinball. They're showing it off in all its glory, right? And it was a little odd that it was in his kid's room, but it's COVID, so they're making do with what they can do. And what other thoughts do you have on it, Ralph? I mean, I'm mad that I still haven't seen Star Wars. I mean, because I'm not going to buy the Marvel one unless I end up.
So I'll wrap it up in two things. Pause it right here. Pause it go back a little bit and pause it. I'll tell you where. No, where he was playing over his shoulder. There we go. Ah, crap. All right. So while Justin gets it to that part, there's a couple things. So for one, I liked the fact that it looked like from the video, the plunger looks like it's pretty good quality. So there we go. I don't know why. So I don't know why the DMD, why they have it set up in a way where, because you could make that consume the whole screen. And I don't know if this is just because, I don't know, they didn't want to stretch it or whatever, but it's not taking up the whole screen.
Oh, I see.
You can resize that to really anything you want.
In this should be pushed out, or it's basically you can tell the device, I have enough room, so go ahead and draw the background for all of that.
I was just messing with. I think it shut off actually, didn't it? Ah, crap! It went into sleep mode. I was messing around with one of my virtual pinball machine, or it's not really a virtual pinball machine, but anyways, whatever. I was messing around with virtual pinball behind me, and I was playing with the DMD and the back glass and the resolution and stuff. And you can put it in a windowed mode where you can kind of like stretch that and do what you want with it. So unless they're just trying to make it, unless when you consume the screen, it looks weird, they might have just said that. But I'm thinking the other actions that are part of that Zen game might consume the whole screen, because they have another area where they show like some art graphics in there, and it is consuming the whole screen. It shows like the pinball logo and the Zen logo, and it's consuming the whole screen. So anyways, it was just a weird thing I noticed. The other thing I noticed is the plunger looks like it's kind of good. It looks like it's pretty good quality. And like all the chrome looks awesome. Like the metal everywhere. Like I can't remember. I'm not that much of a pinhead that I know what the name of that. It's like a crossbar or whatever that's called. The piece that goes along the front.
Mm-hmm.
In real pinball machines, it's curved like that, so it's comfortable when you're playing. So like you put your palms on it. If you
Mm-hmm.
notice the artist pictures of like the At Games Legends Ultimate, some of the hardcore pinball guys that are looking at it are like, oh well, it's weird because it just kind of drops down. It's like too much of a jagged edge, and that's kind of not how you would comfortably play it. But maybe
Limbinski's schooling you. He's
lockdown bar,
the
yeah, there
lockdown
it is.
bar.
Yeah, see, I don't know the terms that well, but yeah, so there's that lockdown bar that's curved, which is kind
Mm-hmm.
of how you'd want it.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing I thought was cool is when he puts the video on silent and you hear the solenoids, they sound pretty good. Like they sound like they're decent quality. So I'm like, it's yet to be seen, but if they put some pretty good solenoids in this thing, that could be pretty solid. Like I don't know, I'm really excited. I'm gonna buy one just because I need to see how good quality it is. Like because if they pulled off something that really does give you the effect of things being hit on the play field and you can feel it and you have the tactile feedback and then the accelerometer for nudging works good. Like that could be really neat at that price point. It's not a replacement for that $2,000, $3,000. There's your screen right there. So it's not consuming the whole thing.
Yeah.
It's not a replacement for your, $2,000 and above DIY,
Mm-hmm.
but it could be at this price point. You could be getting a really cool, like well put together package for that price that you've never really seen in this virtual pinball space because Toy Shock was not it. And Toy Shock, I heard their price is going up if they even ever see the light of day in their next version. I'm questioning that, dude. I don't know. Do you think that? I mean, they said they were coming out with new platforms, a tabletop and a version 2, but I haven't seen any news on that.
Yeah, well, they're not going to release that type of information at this time, right? So
No, but they did. They like talked about coming out with a version 2, and then like I haven't heard anything. Like there's nothing on their website or anything.
who's oh Toy Shock? You're talking about Toy Shock?
Yeah, because I was saying like at this price point, right? You're only the Toy Shock when it came out was $400,
Right.
and I heard their version 2s were going to be like $100 more. So, and I don't think they're going to have any of the haptics. So now you're talking about
Well, maybe
uh,
that.
$50 more, and you're getting the haptics and everything. So there's like going to be this weird. There's going to be this weird like divide where you're going to have the $50 more one potentially with at games, but
What do you think
it's
those speakers are? Those 2 or those are 3 inches, right?
they're either 3 or 4. It's hard to tell in the picture, but
The grill is pretty nice, though. I like that.
Arcades does bring up a point, and I gotta admit this, like looking at it, there was one time where he nudges the cabinet and it doesn't seem to be responding, and then he nudges it again and it does. Now, he did say something about it not being final hardware and all that stuff, but it was finicky right there. So I think that's what Arcades is talking about. Like he nudges it. You saw that, right, Justin? It like the ball doesn't really move,
Yeah.
and then he does it again and it does, and you're like, whoa, hold on. So that was a little bit weird when I saw that.
Yeah, I had some thoughts on it. I'd like to really play with it and see it because I don't know if like the time he hit it, the first time it didn't register, or was it that it did register, but you're not in the part of the game where it would actually, do a nudge. He had to do it again. I don't really know.
Well, and the
Um,
other thing is, Lewis brings up a good point. So he did
Mhm.
say in the video that the software was final, but the hardware was still being finalized.
That's
So
true.
who knows? It could have been like one of the development accelerometers in there, and that it wasn't reacting exactly how it should. So I think, put it this way, I'm pretty impressed by what I'm seeing right now, but I still want to buy it to confirm my feelings of it. But I'm buying it. I'm buying it because I want to
Mhm.
check it out. It's piqued my interest because I'll tell you guys, go look for something at this price point that you can buy that has a real plunger, has accelerometers, has solenoids. You're just not going to find it. Like especially at that price point, you just won't.
Mhm.
So, and if you want to build it, I was Justin, this is one topic we didn't get to talk about much, but I was looking into how someone can add haptic feedback, how someone could add
Yeah.
solenoids to a
We-
pinball machine. It
we were
gets
talking
really
about this
complex
and-
really fast.
What's cool is, this is a general purpose device. So when you open it up, we're gonna learn this is what they assembled to build this product. And then it would be interesting to compare that to things that are on the market today. So what exact solenoids are they using? Did they to get that price point down? Did they have to buy it in mass quantities, or is there actually a pretty big margin in this? Being that it we can learn from this. From example, if you did want to go into the DIY route, there's a lot of people that do that. Would that open it up? Because there's a lot of people that are talking about they don't want that 24-inch screen. Now, for me, I don't. I'm not you, so I don't know what you're thinking. The people out there that are like, I want a 27 or I want a 32, and I hear that from many people. It's causing me to rethink it because so many different people are saying, "Oh, I wish, oh, I wish." But that's never been something that I've desired when I hear that again, it's Star Wars for me because I keep going to my daughter. It's very simple for me. I'm not a pinhead. I don't know these games. I've never played any of these games. I'll be honest with you. I don't. I'm gonna buy it anyway because I'm gonna buy. My daughter really wants the Star Wars pinball machine. Very
Yeah.
simple. We went to the arcade last year. They had what's it called? Episode 1 Star Wars, Phantom Menace pinball machine. And she played it, and she basically played that the entire time. We're like, oh, let's go and play this one. And they even had T2 pinball, and that was really cool. She kept going back to that. She had a lot of fun with it. And then when she heard there's going to be a pinball machine that we can get that's in our house for $500, she wanted it. And I even
Yeah.
told her, I was like, it doesn't have that game. It doesn't have Pod Racer. It doesn't have, Phantom Menace at all. And she's like, I don't care. It's Star Wars. She's a huge Star Wars fan. I mean, today she was putting together, the Razor Crest from Lego. Like we buy a lot of stuff. And so that's why I'm going to get it. If they didn't have a Star Wars pinball, I wouldn't buy it. But that's just me. And so the
Yeah.
24-inch, it's like, I want to make my daughter happy. And she's totally going to be thrilled over this. It's a kid's toy. I'm buying it for my kid. My kid plays a lot of the arcades that are behind me. Maybe I'm different with other people, but it's not like I'm playing these or these arcades every single day.
Yeah. There's a lot of conversation in the chat about 720p versus 1080p versus the
Mhm.
screen size and stuff like that. I built one that actually I had to pull the video down, but that's another topic. But I built a 24-inch tabletop vertical pinball machine, and it's a 24-inch screen. It's running 1080. It's running 720p. The thing is, I have two of them. I have another one that has a 1080p screen in, and at that screen size, you really don't notice much of a difference between 1080p and 720p. So it's not like that's the big deal. And there's other comments in there which I totally agree with. It's really about the how many frames can I get it running at an accurate frames per second at a screen that size. So the trade-off they had to make with the hardware they had is they're going to run it at 720p but at 60 FPS guaranteed, because that's the problem is like as soon as pinball starts dropping frames, it's just going to be a crappy experience. It's not going to be good. The 60 frames per second is like a non-negotiable with virtual pinball. Like it has to be there. And the system I have back here, it's just when you have it hooked up, no lag, 60 frames per second, it in a good system, it's a really fun experience. And I don't even have any of the haptics in mind. But also, Mike talked about the accelerometers and stuff like that. They are really cheap. So accelerometers are cheap. Solenoids obviously more expensive. I was looking at a shaker motor the other day that's like $150, and that's for one of them.
Right.
But you can get these there's these transducers you can use on buttons to give them a haptic feel, like to get a feel. And I'm actually planning on. I want to try to, as this hobby evolves, like if someone's doing DIY and they want to add that feature to a button, like can they do it cheaply? And it's not going to be it's not going to be amazing, but like what if they want to start out lightweight and then grow into it? So I'm trying to like buy some parts and play with that a little, because that's an area I admittedly haven't really gone down very much.
Right. I can tell you. So the 720 versus 1080 is an interesting one. So it makes sense they would do 720 because everything is pretty much 720 max in this arena. Embedded devices. I mean, the work that I do, I have to develop for UIs that are 720 for 1080, and it does make a big difference.
I have to correct Mike. He's trolling me in the comments. I don't mean evolved. I mean like this part of the market. The hobby's been around for a long time. It's just it's just
as
not
the home arcade grows.
Yeah, as the home arcade starts to adopt it in a different
Right.
sense. Yes.
So it does make a big difference between 720 and 1080 when just images on a television through a UI. Gameplay, of course. It also depends on the distance you are. I mean, everything looks horrible at 1080 if you're standing 5 feet, or I'm sorry, like inches from the television. In my development environment, I have a 4K television right next to me, and I'm like, I'm not 10 feet away from it. I'm 2 feet away from it, and it doesn't look good to me. But that's because I'm really, really close to a television. So a pinball machine that's down in front of you, 720, 1080, it might make a difference. I'm really interested to see when it comes. But what I can say is the fidelity of the images that are being used makes a huge difference on 720 versus 1080.
Yeah.
So if you have 1080 as an example, there's a lot of gaming systems out there that are 1080 in the UI, but the fidelity of the images that are using are not, and it actually looks worse. It looks really bad.
Yeah.
Because you can see all of the the noise.
Well,
But
and the other thing too, though, there's another huge thing. The contrast ratio is huge, and then the viewing angle is huge. Because I was playing with when the Toy Shot came out. Do you remember? I remember on the phone with you, I broke it basically.
Yep, we fried
And
it.
I needed to replace the monitor. I went
That's
through
right.
a couple monitors because it was really important to try to find a monitor that I could lay flat like that and look at from above, and you would be
Oh.
indistinguishable, right?
Is
Like I
that why
needed it.
Arcade One Up actually has it tilting inside? It's so that when you're
Well,
standing up,
I don't think so. I thought they did that for the depth, the idea of it having depth, but it could be. Maybe there's two.
You can
Maybe
get
it's
more
twofold.
lean in it with that.
Maybe. What am I supposed to
Interesting.
ask the 8-ball? Everyone's
Okay,
asking
so
about the 8-ball. Am I
real
supposed to
quick,
ask
we're going to take a pause for this. Will be the entertainment part of our show. So Zohar is in love with this Persian girl. He's completely in love with her. And we need to ask the 8-ball. It says, Ralph, can you ask the 8-ball if this Persian girl that I'm in love with, who's, by the way, watches this show too, Zohar doesn't know
Oh, of
that,
course. Yeah, of course she does.
will fall in love with me too?
Okay, all right. Ready? Magic 8-ball. We're in the middle of a show right now, but this is really important that you focus on what we're doing. Zohar, who you do know, we've talked about it before
You're
in the past.
actually talking to this.
He's into this girl, and he wants to know if this girl is as in love with him as he's in, or if she'll fall in love with him. Whatever. Okay, so just answer the question. All right.
Just be honest. Say what it says.
All right. I did have to shake it because it was kind of at the tip, and I shook it and it fell into place, and I have not moved it since. It says outlook good. So hey, the magic 8-ball is spoken. That's it.
Yeah. I think
And then IAR came is like, Zohar is from Venice. At least that is where Johnny Cage is from. So I don't even know what he's talking about, but I don't even know what that has to do with anything. But yeah, it's Johnny Cage from Venice. I don't know.
That's right. So that's our show, and we're sticking to it. But check this out. I have one more thing I want to talk about, Ralph. Really quick.
But I did want to mention one thing. One quick one. No, Mike said something that is very true, but it's not in everyone's budget. Mike said, and this is true, if anyone sees a V pin at 4K, they will throw these store-bought machines against the wall. 100%. So I 100%. Like there's one machine that a buddy of mine has. He runs it at 4K. Yeah, it looks freaking spectacular. He's got this crazy force feedback system in it. It's insane. So yes, that is very true. But this will be a great, I think, entrance into the space, I think, for a lot of people that are looking to get into the hobby, at something where they can plug and play, enjoy it, and then maybe they'll go crazy and buy other stuff later. And by the way, you have another super chat before you get
hold on a second. Ralph, this is Ray, the one that thinks you're funny, and I'm not as funny, but I got a little, I'm a little more techie. So there you go. Rub it in, Ralph.
Ray, I really tried to flex my technical muscles in this episode, so I hope you'll reconsider that maybe Justin's the funny one, or maybe Justin's a little funny and smarter than me, but I'm not stupid and funny. Like, let's just work with me a little bit. Okay. But thank you. We appreciate the super chat and the support. I'm obviously joking.
Okay.
I am a little dumb. That's definitely not as smart as Justin, that's for sure. But
no, that's not true. That's not true. I'm a huge, what is it called? Like a faker? No? Is that the right word? Anyway, I'm an imposter. There you go. I'm an imposter. I'm one of the biggest imposters,
All right, whatever. Okay, get to your thing because I know we'll run over and I have
He
to make
says,
dinner,
okay,
so.
I'm trying to reproduce the Sega versus City candy cab style that shows scores and winner. Do you know if there's any way to do this without having official cab?
I actually don't. I don't know. I've never played with that ever. I don't know. That's a really good question, though. I wish I could help you with that. I don't know, but I do know someone that knows that the Sega candy cabs very well, which is Joe Sabo. So I could shoot him the question and ask him because I know he's tinkered with those quite a bit. He's restored several. So yeah, he'd be my go-to guy on that. I would ask him probably.
Yeah, so Dr. Frankenolly, do us a favor after the show is over. You can do a comment in the actual video, and then we'll try to reply to it. And we'll try to get that answer for you. We'll do the research for you. So, real quick.
My family has me pinned. Yep. I thought I was smart because I was in the dumb class.
Okay, here's the question.
Okay.
Today, Ralph, right after the show, because we got to go really quick.
Yes.
You're cooking. Is that right?
Well, I'm barbecuing because it's like 90,000 degrees here still, so I can go out and barbecue.
Let's talk about it real quick. So I'm getting hungry, so afterwards I got to eat. Hopefully people in the show are getting hungry. So what are you going to eat? And maybe we can talk about that real quick.
I was going to make, I don't remember the name of them, but it has a fancy name. You like take a burger, you make the burger, and then you basically cut a pocket in there and you put the cheese in the middle. I can't remember what those are called. There's a name for that. Yeah.
You put cheese in the middle of the burger.
Yeah, like you basically make the patty, but you put cheese in the middle of the burger.
Like sandwich the cheese? Like you mean a double cheeseburger?
No, not like a piece
You're making
of
a double
cheese.
cheeseburger.
No, like you actually like stuff the inside with cheese.
Like you cut a hole in the center of it, and then you pour nacho cheese.
It's called the Juicy Lucy. No, you don't pour nacho cheese. You like get like
Lucy.
Yeah, like you could use like you could shred a block of cheese and you put the shredded cheese in the middle. Like you build a little home for it, like an igloo, and then you kind of like
Lucy.
Yeah.
Okay.
You really don't know what that?
I've never had a Juicy Lucy.
Yeah, Juicy Lucy.
It sounds really wrong, though.
No, it's not wrong. It's good, right? It's good.
Really?
Yeah.
All right, hit a 1 in the chat if you've had a Juicy Lucy. Give us a big 0 if you've never had it. You don't know what Ralph is talking about. I wish I had the poll up right now. Let me see if I can. No, it's not working right now.
Center of the patty is a better way. So Daniel's got it. The center of the patty. Like, you just kind of make it like a little home for it. Like a little home, you know? Little guy. No, okay.
All right, we got a couple of people. See? Home arcade in a box is like, nope, never heard of it. Steve B, that jumped on me. Look at all these people that no clue what you're talking about.
Like, all right, here, look.
Mike,
really
0.0.
Like it kind of looks like this, but you're gonna make fun because you're gonna say that it looks like it kind of looks like this. Like it's sort of like you make the little pocket for it. Like it cooks inside it. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It looks like there's just 2 patties with cheese, but it's not. Do you know what I mean?
It looks pretty good. You're getting me hungry,
I may not even do that because I'm already running late on time and my daughter's coming. So by the way, there's a bunch of comments in there. I'm not quitting YouTube, by the way.
Ray from Netherlands has no clue what you're talking about.
He's from the Netherlands. So is Wicked Gamer. If I asked Wicked Gamer what a Juicy Lucy is, he'd probably say something super inappropriate. So
now you don't like people from Netherlands?
No, I love people from Netherlands. No. He just would never know. Just like there's things he would say. He said something like, Wicked always says crazy stuff, and I don't know what he's talking about. See? So he doesn't know what I'm talking about. I don't know what he's talking about.
Andre's like, yeah, you made it up. It's not a thing.
Well, thank you for the super
You just
chat.
made it. You went to GameStop's website right now. That wasn't Food Network. That was GameStop.
Okay. Yep. It was GameStop. Yep.
See, this is how I know Ralph is angry, because whenever he gets angry, he'll just agree with me. He'll agree with me. He'll say that whole, yep, you're right. Yep, exactly. Yeah, it's GameStop. Yep, sure. Yep, exactly. Remember that one time? There was one time that we were really mad at each other for one day.
Yeah, and you wrote a text to me that said, if we don't talk tomorrow, it's going to get really awkward. That's what you wrote.
Yeah. I almost forgot. We did move on from that too, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. You're like...
Literally at this moment was the last time that I remembered it. But we kind of got salty at each other for a moment.
I know, and I was definitely like, I knew I couldn't talk to you because I was frustrated and I didn't want to say stupid things. So I was like, I just need one more day. And you're like, if we don't talk by tomorrow, this is gonna get awkward. You turned into Patrick.
That's what my text sounds like.
Hey Ralph, this is SpongeBob. Hey, SpongeBob.
Okay,
It's
real
Patrick.
quick. So let's give a quick update. So the One Up Weekly live stream, we are planning on doing the captain's auction. It's about 2 weeks from now. So next week will be a normal, podcasty show, and then after that, we're gonna do the captain's auction. We always have a lot of fun. Don't forget to subscribe and like and all that fun stuff. Maybe hit notifications if you can join us at that time. Hard part is we don't know when we're gonna go live. We never know. We don't know when we're going to go live 5 minutes before we go live when we do the captain's auction. We're like,
Can I
it's probably
explain
going to
for
be
2
at
seconds
noon.
why? Can I explain for 2 seconds why?
Yeah.
Guys, the guy is a machine that does that auction, but oftentimes the retro arcades are right after the pinballs, and the pinballs take forever.
And nobody cares about pinball. Oh, what did I say?
No, but they go for the reason why there's so much care and feeding to these pinballs as far as the auction goes, they go for $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, $8,000, and some of them are the mechanical originals, so they do not rush those.
Cool,
where
but it's not super exciting.
But then they'll get to they'll be like, here's a Mortal Kombat, it's high and tight, light and load, and then he's like, all right, sold to the, and you're like, what the hell, and it's gone. So they bang through the arcades quick, but they don't so much on the pinballs.
Okay,
is it high and tight or low and slow?
Let's talk about how you're
what
quitting YouTube. Let's talk about that.
No, I'm not quitting YouTube,
You're quitting.
guys.
He called me the other day. He's like, that's it, I'm done.
No, I'm not. It wasn't a quitting YouTube. There was some stuff, there's some family-related stuff that happened, so I wanted to make sure that I took care of that. Yeah, I wanted to make sure I took care of that.
To be honest, you did mention it before that happened, but
yeah, and I wanted to make sure I took care of that. But here's the funny thing: is I actually had I have a couple videos that I had done, so they're going to be published this week. So it's going to look like I'm like the guy that goes, I'm going to take a break, and then I don't. But I had a couple little small videos that are just going to go out this week. But yeah,
you scheduled those videos, so it's like you already quit. It was just in flight.
Didn't quit. I'm not quitting.
Yeah,
I'm not quitting. Bright and
How long
tight. By the way,
you quitting for about a month? Is that right?
No, I'll probably not publish anything new for a week or so. That's
He's
it.
going live Tuesday.
No, I'm not. I'm not. Oh, come on, Mike. That's not cool, dude.
So you're taking a break from Coffee Talk then?
Well, I have to. Yeah, I can't do Coffee Talk tomorrow. I'll literally be on a plane tomorrow or very early in the morning, so I cannot go on Coffee Talk. So I can't do that. But the following week, Coffee Talk will be on for sure.
Zohar, he says, I will probably buy a full-size cabinet on November 14th because there's this Persian girl that will find another guy, and I'll be bad enough to spend $1,000. All right. Well, I think that's a great place to end it, right, Ralph? Let's real quick. Yeah. Was there any other questions people had? We can do a quick run through questions. Don't super chat. Just put
You got to go really quick, dude.
Really quick.
Already
We'll just
running
put
behind.
a question mark at the beginning of your question. We'll try to get through a few of them. If we miss you, you can comment after the video and we'll respond. So there's no closing time today. Sorry, Mike. No, this is a guitar-free episode. We're doing a guitar-free episode.
Yeah. I'm not going on my honeymoon. I think the guitar will absolutely be in full effect for the auction, though. Correct?
I don't think we ever really do guitar on the auction.
I think you should.
No, I think it's pretty lame.
Why?
It's just stupid. During the auction, we got to listen to the auctioneer guy.
All right, whatever. I think you should, but at least an intro and an outro. And Mike, if he doesn't get closing time, is gonna
I'm not gonna do closing time. I will tell you, this is what I'm not really gonna do it, but I was playing with this today.
Though, for real.
I was doing this because I wanted to do something really, really cheesy. I'll show you real quick. I'm not actually gonna do any music, no guitar, nothing. But I was gonna do this.
Why were you gonna do that exactly?
I don't know, because I thought it'd be really stupid.
I know, but what is
kick it?
Were you doing this because of the company Ice?
Yeah. All right, stop. Collaborate and listen. Ice is back with a brand new edition. Something grabs a hold of me tightly, flows like a hot brew daily and nightly. Will it ever stop? Yo, I don't know. Turn off the lights and I'll glow to the extreme. I rock the mic like a vandal, light up the stage and I'll jump like a candle. Dance, boom, 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 bailing and rain like a room deadly. When I play a dope melody, anything less than the best is a felony. Love it or leave it, you better gain way. Better hit the bullseye, kids don't play. If there was a problem, yo, I'll solve it. Check out the hook while my DJ revolves it. Anyway.
All right, that wasn't bad. Let me see. I want to do the next verse.
It wasn't
I'll do
that
the
good.
next verse. Here, I'll do the next verse. Oh, did you already stop it?
Well, you can't sing along with me because
No,
it's
but I'll
going to
do
be
the
a
next.
delay.
No, I'll do the next verse. I want to see if I.
Yeah, but
if I-
you
let's
have
see
to
if
play
I-
the music.
Why can't I just sing it over your song?
You're not that smart, are you?
Dude, I know there's latency, but it's a freaking Vanilla Ice song. Like, I mean, look,
It's really important for it to be on the beat that much more.
it's a Vanilla Ice song.
Play
There's
the
a little bit
audio
of
on your side.
What do I look up?
I don't know. Do Ice Ice Baby.
I don't know, but I can't have the one. Look, what is that? Like Ice Ice Baby instrumental or something?
Yeah, do like Ice Ice Baby like karaoke or something.
All right. Well, why is my YouTube like hung?
I don't know.
Hold on. All right. Give me 1 second.
See? Ray's like, Justin is funny.
It's questionable, but we can be. I'm just kidding. Why is YouTube like completely pooping over itself for me right now? All right, I got it. All right, so just I should do Ice Ice Baby instrumental.
No, do karaoke.
Ice Ice Baby karaoke, and then I gotta go.
Yeah, it wasn't really Vanilla Ice actually, because it's like under pressure. Dun, dun.
All right, I got it.
Okay,
I
you got it.
All right, hold on. Yeah. Let me see. I got to do this. I got to go Chrome tab, share audio. But I got to get to the second. I need the second verse though, right?
Go to like a minute 10.
Why is it buffering like a mofo right now? I don't
know,
understand.
man.
I'm not doing anything. It's probably Tanner on frickin' Fortnite.
There you go.
And right now he's probably like, guys, I'm lagging, guys. I'm lagging. So laggy. Dad, what's wrong with the internet? It's laggy.
Oh, this is laggy.
I know, but this is so ridiculous. I have like giga freaking schmeg at my house.
They are streaming to YouTube too.
Oh my jeez.
You're just gonna run an ad. Just watch. It's like, okay, I finally got
There
it
it
figured
is.
out.
Okay, can you hear it?
Yeah.
All right, where were you?
About a minute. A minute 10 is when. About a minute. Go to 1 minute.
I just don't understand why it's so damn slow.
I don't know, man.
So you were past like light up the stage and wax a chump like a candle, and then you were going to be at now that the party is jumping, right?
Yep.
I think.
Yep.
All right, if this doesn't load in like 20 more seconds, I'm out. But because this is ridiculous.
Yo, I'll solve it.
Is this the part you were at?
Delay. Yeah. See, I'm trying to sing along with you, but there's delay.
All right, I'm gonna probably. I don't
Do
need
it.
the
Here it
lyrics,
goes.
but I'm gonna try it.
Here you go.
Ready?
Come on.
All right, ready?
It's coming.
I got it.
You got this?
Yeah.
Go.
Now that the party is jumping, with the bass kicked in and the Vegas are pumping, quick to the point, no faking, cooking MCs like a pound of bacon, burning them, being quick and nimble. I go crazy when I hear a cymbal like a hi-hat. It is souped up tempo, I'm on a roll, it's time to go solo, rolling. In my 5.0 with the rag top down so my hair can blow. The girlies on standby waiting just to say hi. Did they stop? No, I just drove, I kept on. Pursuing to the next stop. Almost 11 and I'm headed to the next block. The block was dead, yo, so I continued to A1A.
Beachfront Avenue.
Girls were hot wearing less than bikinis. Rockman love is driving Lamborghinis. Jealous, cause I'm out getting mine. Shay with the gauge and vanilla with the 9. Ready for the chumps on the wall. The chumps acting up because of the 8 ball. Oh, 8 ball. I grabbed a 9 when I heard the shells falling on the concrete real fast. Jump in the car, slammed on the gas. Bumper to bumper, the avenue's packed. I'm trying to get away, but the jack is a jack. Police on the scene, you know what I mean? They passed me up, confronted all the dope fiends. If there was a problem, yo, I'll solve it. Check out the hook while Justin revolves it. There you go. There's my Ice Ice Baby.
All right.
Wow, that's gonna be in replay. Awesome. Wow. I don't even know why I just did that. Can we just take this one down now? Just take it down. It's cool.
Just trim that out just a little bit.
Just trim the back part out. Be all good. Now I'm like totally gangster. I'm like A1A Beachfront Avenue, Justin.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I kind of think I was better.
I think you were too. It's all right.
It's all about the timing, dude. It's the timing.
Mike lives in Florida, so he was like,
now that the party is jumping, with the bass kicked in and the Vegas are pumping, quick to the point, no faking, cooking MCs like a pound of bacon, bunning them, get quick and nimble. I go crazy when I hear a himble with a hi-hat, I mess up the words. I'm on a roll, it's time to go solo, roll it. On the 5.0 with a ragtown hound with a hair can blow. Dealers on standby, waving just to say hi. Did I stop? No, I just wrote some. I messed it up.
Wait, what? Wait, what did you...
Bassrun Avenue, girls on hot wits and lifts in the bikinis, rocking lovers, driving Lamborghinis, jealous, cause they're out of my mind, shade with the gay, but the bill with the knife, ready for the jump on the wall. This is so bad.
The Garage Gamer wants to know why people are leaving the live stream. I'm pretty sure the reason why the people are
I think I know why.
But also you have effects on your voice. That's not fair. I don't have.
Yeah, check it out. I got a little bit of. I can crank it up too. Hey.
All right, hold on. I want to go back.
Seriously.
Wait, what's the next verse? I don't know. Oh, that's the hard part. No, that's the hardest part.
Yeah, it's pretty hard.
Yeah, I don't like that part. If anything, the first part's the easiest part, like in the beginning.
Yep.
Because the beginning's only like. I feel like I need to redeem myself. I'm gonna try one more time. Okay. All right, just for the first part.
All right, go for it.
All right, stop. Collaborate and listen. Ice is back with a brand new invention. Something grabs a hold of me tightly, flow like a harpoon daily and nightly. Will it ever stop? Yo, I don't know. Turn off the lights and I'll glow. To the extreme, I rock a mic like a vandal. Light up a stage and wax a chump like a candle. There.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good, man.
All right, that's my last one. All right, we're done now. Okay, we gotta go.
Never.
This was the stupidest thing ever. We always do the dumb stuff at the end of the show. Like Justin and I will always be like, "Hey, man, do you think people watch that stuff?" And he's like, "Nah, it was deep tracks." We always say, if we do stupid stuff, we do it at the end of the show. So that's a good reason to stay at the end of for the whole show.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much for watching, and you guys have a really good week. We'll see you guys next week. I don't think...
What? You don't think what?
I think that's it. We'll see you guys on the next one.
Why'd you so abruptly?
I was going to say, like, you won't see Ralph on a coffee talk, but that kind of sounded dumb.
Oh, okay.
But he has the video.
Then I guess we'll see you.
Wait. Hold on. Zohar is freaking out. He says, check your messenger. Maybe there's something funny. He's like spamming.
Kim is going to kill me. Dinner was supposed to be made. I'm not making it. I said I was doing it. Now we're half an hour out of the thing. Come on, Zohar. You're going to get me in trouble, man. And my internet's laggy as hell right now. Dad, can I buy more skins for Fortnite? Come on, man. Dude, my internet is so slow. If you didn't send it to, you're gonna have to send it to Justin because I can't even open up your message.
He said open up Messenger.
Oh, he sent me the office. He sent me the scene where he sent me this. Hold on. Actually, I can't even play it because they swear in it. I'm pretty sure. He sent me the scene in Office Space where the guy's rapping in his car. I can't play it because he swears.
Yeah. You got. Yeah, we know.
Yeah. I can't play it because he swears too much. All right.
That's what I felt the whole time. Just hold on. I have to answer this one thing.
Dude, I gotta go.
And then we're done. So I watched the premiere. I don't have early access to it or anything like that. I watched it on Friday. The Mandalorian Season 2, Episode 1. Man, it's good. It's really, really good. I'm not going to say anything because there's probably people in the show that haven't watched it. But make sure you watch Mandalorian Season 2, Episode 1, all the way to the last frame. The very last frame is very, very good.
All right,
and you're like, what?
This will be the first time ever I actually have to leave you to end the show. Like, I gotta go.
That's it. We'll see you guys later.
All right. See you guys on
the next one.
All right. See you guys.
Bye.